Hello. I got to read the conflict chapter last night after bedtime. My husband was super tired, so he fell asleep before me. And I read and read and read. And it was really good. I think it's perfect placement in the book right after the communication chapter and after the love chapter and after the chapter 14 where it talks about the protection that the Lord has in place for us wives. So it was really good placement. I liked that. It flowed so well. So the first thing I jotted down was just seeking unity and peace. Ephesians 4:3, where she says, diligent to preserve the unity of the spirit in the bond of peace. Like, that should be our goal always in our marriage. So often we get caught up in arguing, conflict, and forget that our goal should be peace and unity. And it's really easy to lose sight of that when we let our emotions lead us and not follow or apply the things that we've learned about communication and about love and self-control, being a believer. So she talks about unbiblical thoughts that do not help in resolving conflict at all, feeding these thoughts, fueling the flame, I will have my way. I can't believe he wants to paint the house green. Why try? He won't even listen. He makes me so mad. Okay. So he's impossible. He'll never change. He makes me so mad. He only cares about himself. And on and on. And anything else that you think about that she may not have listed here. Those things don't help conflict. They just make everything worse. You're like fueling your flame, making yourself more angry. You're going to fight harder, and it makes misery for everybody. And then after everything's over, it's so much worse to like reconcile because you've already hurt and done so much damage. That horrible residue stays for so much longer, So biblical thoughts that you want to replace these unbiblical thoughts with are, asking yourself, what is God trying to teach me in the midst of this conflict? I'm a Christian. For me to initiate divorce just because we are having a lot of conflict is not an option that I have. Reminding yourself of truth, reminding yourself of obeying Christ before anything. God will help me endure these conflicts. If I must suffer through this conflict, I want it to be for doing what is right, not because I have sinned. God has a perfect purpose in this conflict. I think that out of these examples, the one that I most, the ones that I most use are number 1 and number 5. What's God trying to teach me? How is God using this conflict? And also, like, how can I best honor the Lord in this conflict is something I think about whenever I'm in conflict. What can I do differently to make it easier for us to solve this conflict? That's a good one. And then she talks about the 3 main causes of conflict, and they're basically differentness, selfishness, which is sinfulness, and righteousness. So differentness, sinfulness, and righteousness. Those are the 3 reasons we fight. The biblical guideline to overcome differentness is forbearance, to put up with each other. We're going to be different. That's just life. That's a beautiful thing, but with the beautiful thing comes the hard thing that we're all different. It's wonderful that we're all different, and it's hard that we're all different, and we have to just put up with one another, love one another. In 1 Corinthians 13, it talks about putting up with one another. I don't know where she used it to use the exact words, but bearing with one another, And one of the things that she used as an example here that I thought was really useful is the leave and cleave stuff she talked about with